Right, welcome back to the fourth segment of Bernama today. I still have David Peterson with me, and let's talk a little bit about Wing Chun. And Wing Chun is best described as a concept-based system as opposed to a technique-based one, right? So when you say a concept-based and a technique-based system, what do you mean by concept-based and technique-based?
We like to think that in the spontaneous situation of a fight, if you have to go about protecting yourself under violent assault, you can't be trying to go back into your mind and thinking, oh, which sequence is this, or what technique should I use? It has to be as normal as dropping a hot cup when you pick it up with no thought. So we base all our training on concepts, which are basically ideas that the human body is capable of assimilating through neural loading. By doing certain movements in a certain way, particularly through drills that we do and forms that we do, we load our neural system so that things come out automatically and not I have to do A, B,
I was
C,
about to
D.
go there because I learned Taekwondo when I was 9 to 12 years old, and we were taught, you know, different moves and all that, and those, they call it patterns, and or those are set stuff, right? Which I sometimes think as well, it doesn't really matter when you're sparring with someone, isn't it?
Well, if it doesn't happen automatically, then it's not going to happen in a way that will work. And you can't. We have forms as well, what you would refer to as patterns. But the difference is the forms or patterns in other martial arts tend to be like a make-believe fighting scenario. You've got 2 guys, 3 guys, 5 guys, and you're defending against each of those. For Wing Chun, it's more about doing the forms because we want to learn certain shapes or biomechanical movements and learn certain reflexes that will become automatically loaded into our body. So on screen now, people practicing what we call Chisa, which is a very unique exercise that Wing Chun uses to create spontaneous and automatic movement when we make contact with our opponent.
And that's based, I mean, it's from the look of it, it's based on speed, isn't it?
It's got speed because it's very short. We don't move very fast. So if a movement only travels 2 or 3 inches, of course it'll be faster than something that travels a meter. The other thing is that we have very simple concepts such as we always face each other, what we call chiu-ying. If you always face your opponent, they can only attack one surface of your body. And you have at least 2 arms and 1 leg that you can use to attack and defend with. As opposed to starting side on, which gives more targets and reduces the weapons. We use what we call center line, which is understanding that the shortest distance between me and my opponent is always a straight line. That being the case, if I always follow that line, it protects me at the same time as attacking you. So we have a handful of ideas, maybe 5 or 6 simple ideas, and 3 or 4 basic shapes that the body can make naturally, and we just basically use those over and over again in whatever combinations come out naturally. It's a very different approach.
Exactly, because it's a different from what I learned. No, what I learned is like, you know, side kick.
If your opponent does this, you
do that. You got to do this. And
the trouble is, I don't know what my opponent's going to do. I'm not inside his head. So if I start thinking, oh, if he does this, I'll do that, and then he doesn't do that, my mind goes into overload and I can't respond. If I'm a blank slate and I allow you to move and I respond to your movement, I'll respond more naturally and much faster, and with an effect that allows me to do what we call lin siu dai da, attack and defend in one motion.
Lin siu dai da is Cantonese, right?
It's Cantonese. Wing Chun is a Cantonese. It's a Cantonese martial art. So the terminology we use is Cantonese. It doesn't quite sound as good in Mandarin.
So now looking at the videos that we have and also the books that are lying in front of us here, it's interesting. You have all the articles. We've read a little bit about you and also the basics, and a lot of people want to learn the secret techniques. You find it amusing that people want to learn, you know, sometimes they just want to know what they want to know, just that little bit, right? They
come with preconceived ideas, and I always let them down very gently, but basically I tell them there are no secrets. It's all about hard work and effort. Hence Gong Fu. It means a skill learned through time and effort. You don't get it in 5 minutes. If it was that easy, we wouldn't need to learn martial arts. It'd be like the Matrix. We plug something in the back of our head. The other thing is that the most advanced things you ever learn in Wing Chun, you learn in the first lesson. The first 5 or 6 things I ever show you are the most advanced things you'll ever learn. Everything else is just extras just in case. They're ways to enhance your understanding and your knowledge. But it all comes down to, I always tell everyone, it comes down to 4 very, very basic things. knowing how to stand properly so that you can generate power and have balance and mobility, knowing how to throw a punch or a strike of any kind that will deliver power and do damage and protect you at the same time, having the footwork to be able to move into your opponent, and having the footwork to be able to avoid your opponent.
Right.
Those 4 things are the key, and they're what you learn in lesson 1.
Right. Okay.
You don't have to wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to be an expert in Wing Chun. If you want to be able to look after yourself under real pressure, a few months can get you there.
Right.
A year will well and truly have you there.
Right. Okay.
And instructors who make it last forever, oh, you're going to have to follow me for 15 years and then I might teach you this, and after you've been training 20 years, then I'll show you the secrets. For me, that's nonsense. 講大話車大炮, right?
I understand that. Okay, let's go on straight to your DVDs. You have 3 DVDs here. Which is the latest one?
The latest one is the one on the wooden dummy. Yes, the
Muk Yan Yong.
Muk Yan Jong is the Wing Chun wooden dummy, which your viewers saw a few moments ago on the screen.
And this is available on. This is available in the stores.
No, it has to be purchased online from the United States.
Okay.
I have a few limited copies of my DVDs, but basically it can be ordered from the United States where it's manufactured.
And we have another one which is Chum Kyu seminar.
Chum Kyu is the second form of Wing Chun, the second training pattern.
This one.
And the first one that you're in your hands now is Siu Nim Tao, which is the first form of Wing Chun, the basic pattern that we learn our basic concepts from.
Oh, okay. So all these 3 DVDs are available at Amazon.com or something?
No, it's at the Cranes Production, which is a company in the United States that produces my books and my DVDs.
Okay.
And there's a link on my website to Cranes Production.
Oh, which we flashed the link on the website of the website earlier on. But let's talk about this book first. This looks the newer and
that's
more
a very special
version.
edition that's just been produced of the book that I first wrote. The first edition was in 2001. It was about half the size of that. And then in 2008, I enlarged it and added information. And then recently, the guys at Crane said, we really think your book should be, they jokingly said, a real book, a hardcover book. And I, as a writer of sorts, I thought, well, yeah, I'd love to have a book that's a real book, a hardcover book.
Right.
And so we talked about how to come up with it. And basically, it's brought the background information about me coming into Malaysia and what's happened in the 10 or so years since the book was first envisioned. That's all up to date, but the basic core of the book, which is my instructor's advice and teachings and his wisdom about combat and about his own approach to Wing Chun, that's all the key material, and that hasn't changed.
Right, and you're also featured on Wing Chun magazines, right? Issue 4 and issue 11.
Yes, I write regularly for the magazine Wing Chun Illustrated, which is the world's most popular magazine on this particular martial arts system. In issue 4, they very kindly put me on the cover and did a cover feature.
And the behind part as well, cranesproduction.com, and then you have yslwingchun.my.
Yeah.
So that's all available here
WSL
as well.
Wing Chun is my school site. WSL stands for my teacher, Wong Leung.
So you always name schools, I mean, do they normally?
I name it after my teacher because everything I have comes from him, and it's my way of showing my respect, and I'm honouring what he passed on to me. And now I've made it my life's work to pass on as much as I can, as accurately as I can, what he passed on, because I think he's left behind an amazing legacy, and it's worth sharing with people.
Right. Thank you very much, David, for coming on the show. Half an hour just flew by, just like that. Right? It was good to have you here on the show. Thank you very much for spending time taking a public transportation from Seremban down here. We appreciate your effort to come on down here and talk to us this morning. And for the viewers out there, thank you very much for watching Bernama today. We've got this interview, of course, next week on our Facebook page. You can check it out if you missed it today. Thank you for watching. We have the Malay News up next.